Okay, to get started on our no-knead bread, here are the ingredients that you'll need. And this is really a easy recipe. I mean, your hands don't get messy. You don't have to have your hands in the dough and everything. And so this is the ingredients that you're going to need. And this is called Sally Lunn bread. And it's the best yeast bread that I have ever come across. And I love this recipe. Been using it for years. And it takes 4 cups all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1 package of yeast or 2 1/4 teaspoons, and a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of milk, and a 1/2 cup of butter cut into pieces, and 3 large eggs, which come from my own darling hens. So, okay, if you're ready to go, we're going to start making our no-knead yeast bread. Okay, first thing we're going to do is add 1 1/2 cups of your all-purpose flour. And I don't usually use the whole 4 cups because you don't want heavy bread, and if you use too much flour, it'll make too much and make it too heavy. Let me see if I got 1 1/2 cups. 1 1/2. No, I said 2 1/2, didn't I? Okay. No, 1 1/2. You just add 1 1/2. I'm lost here. And you add your sugar to this. Add your sugar. And add your yeast in the bowl. Then you add your salt. And you kind of just mix that up together. Blend it in. You got those 4 ingredients. Just a 1.5 cups of flour to start with. Your salt, your sugar, and your yeast. And next what we're going to do is we're going to heat the butter and the milk to add to it. Okay, now we're going to add our butter. Break your pan. Hard doing this with just one hand. Butter is not coming out. Come on, come on. Okay, add your butter, your milk, and your water. And we're going to heat this to 120 degrees. I don't have a cooking thermometer, so I got some wobble going on here. So I just basically guess. I mean, you can guess. You want it warm, but not boiling hot. So this is just basically to melt the butter, and you want it warm, but it says 120 to 130 degrees. But so we stir and get it warmed up. Okay, I think we're live. I don't know. Yep. Okay, got my milk warmed up the way I want it. You just pour it in there slowly. I pour maybe half. And you stir it up. You don't beat it, you just stir it up. the rest in there. Stir it. Stir it up good. Now, we want to beat our eggs. You don't have to beat them, but I found out from a lot of cooks I've seen over the years that it's better to beat them up, and it incorporates them better into whatever you're making. There's 1, 2, 3. You know, just beat the eggs. Beat them up. Think of your worst enemy. You're just a beating. Oh, no, just kidding. Okay, we get them beat up here. That looks good enough. And then you add them to your flour mixture. And then stir it. Stir your eggs in there good. Stir them in there good. This is the easiest bread recipe that I have come across. You don't have to knead. You don't have to get your hands all messy, and I don't know. It's pretty light and fluffy bread. If you don't use too much flour, that's the problem. Now it looks like the eggs is all incorporated in there. So now what you do is you use enough flour to make a good stiff batter. So just put a little bit at a time in there. Stir it up. You know, I'd like to be able to make yeast rolls. My mama, she made the best yeast rolls in the world. But if I make them, and if I happen to throw them out the back door, and there's a dog standing out there, or a cat, or maybe even a person, there's a good possibility they'll get knocked out. Knocked out cold. But I don't know. I think I'm going to have to practice. I need to practice. Practice makes perfect, they say. And I just need to practice making yeast rolls. Okay, I think I've got just about enough flour. I hope I didn't put too much. You just don't want too much. You just want to make a good stiff batter. Not real stiff, but not so stiff you can't move it. But we're going here. Looks good. After you get it all mixed up here, we're going to cover it up, and you just a frog in my throat. You just cover it up, let it rest for just 10 minutes. After you get it all, okay. That is that, if you can see it, that's a good stiff batter right there. I mean, you don't really want it any stiffer than that. So, okay. So, see, had that much flour left, so let me get a towel, and we're going to just cover it up. And let that puppy rest for 10 minutes, and then I'll be right back to let you know what we do next. Okay, we let it rest for 10 minutes. And now what you're going to do is you're going to beat it down. Or at first you got to stir it down here. That's what it looks like. And now we get to the fun part. We get to beat again. And you beat it for 30 seconds to get it all smoothed out, all the bubbles out of it and everything. About 30 seconds. Beat on this side. I don't know, I just kind of guess 30 seconds, so that's probably it. Good exercise for your old arm muscles. Okay, see, it's looking more smooth. And now, what I do is, I'm using these, usually it makes one big loaf, but I'm using these little foil pans, and they work good. And then I'm using this Pam, see it? I'm not endorsing this, folks, it's just what I use. Pam baking my flour. Shake it up real good. Spray your pan down good. Actually, that smells real good. It smells just like cake. It does. Okay. Now, what you want to do is spoon your batter out into your pans here. Spoon it out there. I try to get even in each pan if I can. You'll have one skinny loaf and one big loaf. I think I'm going to end up with a skinny loaf. But it rises up. I'm going to put a little bit more in that other pan. A little bit, because that's all I got is a little bit left. I don't know, maybe this one needs it. I'll get another. Now what I do is, I get another spoon and find one. And I kind of even it down best way you can, because you don't want to have lumpy bread on top. And I guess if you've made yeast bread before, you know you don't want to get it in drafts. So, you know, any draft coming in, but we've been through a heat wave. It's so hot here in the Ozarks that bread probably rises in about 10 minutes. Huh. Shoot, it'd probably cook. You put it outside in the sun. Okay, I think I've got it smoothed down enough. Now what you want to do is you cover them up and let them sit for about an hour until they rise up. Let them sit for an hour, and then we'll be ready to bake them. And I hope this isn't a boo-boo on my part. I hope they turn out okay. I think I've only had one boo-boo in making this recipe, but hopefully this will turn out okay. Okay, I'll come back whenever we're ready to stick her in the oven. Okay, you can see that it's really rising up, and it's just about time to go to the oven. Look at there, up above the pans. Beautiful. And I use my countertop oven. My other oven went out, and I really like this Oster countertop oven. And once again, I'm not endorsing Oster. It's just the oven I have, and I love it. And we have to bake the bread on 350. You preheat your oven to 350 if you've got a regular convection oven. But on the countertops, they're different. They get hotter faster. So I bake it on 300 degrees at about 30 minutes. But in a regular big oven, you can bake it 35 to 40 minutes. You just have to keep an eye on it, and when it's nice and golden brown, then it's ready. But on these ovens, I have to put it on 300. So it's just about ready to get in there. And this one preheats too so I'm just going to go ahead and stick them in there. They are ready. There's 1, 2. Okay. And we got a cake. And I'm going to put it down on 300. Okay. And we're starting up. There she blows. And we shall see. And you want to make sure, and when you take it out of the oven, you cool it for 5 minutes before you take it out of the pan to put on your cooling rack. So I shall return. Oh, just look how it's rising up there, and it's turning golden. Can't you just smell it? Yeah, I love baking yeast bread. It makes your kitchen smell so good. Okay, there she is. I let it out 5 minutes. I let it sit out 5 minutes in the pan and then turned it out on my rack. And now it's time to try a piece. I left the other one in a little bit longer because it was the bigger loaf. So here we go. I'm shaking because I'm scared. I'm always scared to set it. Oh, it fell through the rack. Oh, looky there. I don't know if you can see it. Light and fluffy. It is. It's light and fluffy. And we've got to put butter on it. And I'm going to try it. Got to put some butter on there. I don't care what they say. Butter's better for you than that old margarine stuff. All that processed stuff in it. Plain old butter. Can't you just taste it? And that is how you make Sally Lunn. No knead bread. Trust me, it's good. And I hope that you try some. If you try this recipe, please leave a comment below and let me know how your bread turned out. And if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching.